Be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell.
No! He started it anyway, and I know he did, so I'm just gonna jump into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of PZ85 Plays. Tonight we're playing Shirts versus Skins. My name is Double H, and I am your what do we go with your overseer? I think we decided
overseer.
On overseer.
Yeah.
I like that.
State of the
we are
network.
once again playing
State of the network.
We are once again playing the modifious 2D20 Fallout role-playing game. If you missed our previous adventure a couple of years ago with a bang or a whimper, you can go back and check that out at podzilla1985.com. But right now, we're getting into our first full episode. Last episode was technically episode 0 of our new adventure titled Showdown at Skull Canyon. Let me introduce your cast, beginning to my left, the Kaz Man playing Discount. Oh, I said his name already. Shit. Just say who you are.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna make you a deal here.
He's giving me a deal here. Speaking of him, he's the co-owner and creator of Podzilla 1985, playing Cassidy McGoldrick, or Brotherhood Lancer. That's Shannon Young.
Yeah, and I didn't come alone tonight. I forced Shelby to be on the show with me tonight, right, Shelby?
Why would you do this?
It's a valid question. Also here playing our resident vault dweller, Luna Roxy, is Lindsay Wolfgong.
Hey, I'm playing with fire.
Literally, or...
I have a candle in front of me.
Oh, careful, because if you burn stuff down,
literally.
you'll be sleeping tonight in a
dark gray mist.
No, I'm trying to move it so it melts all the wax properly, because I kind of want to keep this jar.
Hey, he's your chef and mine. He's our Mr. Gutsy chef, and that's Stephen Bright.
I mean, if you live long enough, I will be.
I'm Wenny.
Steven sends people emails that start with, I hope this email finds you before I do, doesn't he? And last but not least, now shrouded in his own dark gray mist for reasons undetermined, playing our Wastelander Jacob Boaz is the man himself, Tanner Calvert.
Yeah, what do you want?
bear shirt McFurskin.
Okay, well, talk amongst yourselves while I go make a check. Bear shirt McFurskin.
Right.
Now, is bear shirt one word?
That's one word, yeah.
Yes.
I believe.
Okay, well, that's Ethan's. That's Ethan's new name.
I believe it's. I believe it's Polynesian.
If Bert Kreischer can do it, I can do it.
That boy knows English.
Yeah, but you're funny.
That's true. He's got you there. So, speaking of going back to Podzilla 1985, in case you missed it, last week we played episode 0 of Showdown at Skull Canyon, which both introduces you to our characters and gets them off and running on their adventures.
Yeah,
so,
we barely did shit last week.
That's not true at all. We did a lot.
We did 2 shows.
Quick recap. I thought you meant on this show.
No, this show was fine, but the network as a whole. Yeah.
We were very quiet. Fallout Week was not as busy as we thought it might be.
It was the exact result of a Fallout. Everybody was dead. No one said anything.
Right, there was nothing to be had.
Yeah.
So to quickly recap, episode 0, our heroes came together in the Mojave Wasteland. They were hired by a woman named Sally Jessup to help protect a group of what she called peaceful types who reside, obviously, in a place known as Skull Canyon that is not too far away, about a half day's away from Good Springs. If you've played Fallout New Vegas, these things should sound familiar to you. However, upon arriving, our group found that the peaceful beings, she says, in need of protection are indeed a group of super mutants. And that's where we cut it off last week. So, any questions before we get started?
Anybody else having trouble getting on Facebook or doing anything with Facebook?
It was real slow to load on my PC. On the phone, it worked fine.
Well, I'm trying to just load the messages because this Ethan thing and all that, and it just won't. Nothing loads. It just says there's problems. That's neither here nor there. It has nothing to do with the show. I was just checking.
I'm not.
It's weird. I'm in right now. No,
What the fuck? Ethan probably hacked me too.
Got you. The boy got you hacked. It's a spreadable hack.
Be clicking them links.
So,
man.
here's what I'm thinking. Let's pick up exactly where we left off. Shannon, do you remember where we left off? Actually, I'm going to start referring to you in character names. Cassie, do you remember the last thing you said?
We were walking into the thing, and I saw super mutants, and I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And that's where we cut it off.
And that was indeed where we cut it off. So we're going to pick it up right up there with literally you repeating that line and then going from there. You all hear Cassidy say this aloud. What is your reaction to seeing that these are... Again, what you're seeing basically at the entrance of this canyon, at basically like a little bit of a choke point, there are two super mutants who are... stationed there. From a distance, it's hard to tell that's what they are, other than the fact that they're big, because they're wrapped in like a light cloth. Like they look like they have like a dust covering around them, leaving only just basically open spaces for their eyes and their mouths. It is very windy and pretty dusty occasionally out here. And they are standing on either side of this. Sally is standing in between them and was saying, "Look, I told you to trust me." What is your reactions? What are your reactions to this scenario?
I've made my voice heard. Who else would like to hear their voice be heard?
I was told to trust her, so I will trust her.
All right.
I am. Like I said I'd trust her. Now, I'm probably going to be looking at these super mutants, being like, wow, they're real big.
Yeah, is this Luna? Is this the first time you've seen a super mutant?
I would assume yes.
Okay. So yeah, it's a little imposing. Sorry, Discount. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we're talking about what's her face? What's the? I know her.
Sally.
Jessup.
Sally.
Sally?
Sally.
Yeah,
I
Sally
got
Jessup.
But I know Sally. We've had dealings. She's always profitable.
Sure.
So I believe her.
Okay. Jacob, what about you?
I am not trusting. Maybe they can't tell, but he's definitely got a hand pretty close to his weapons. He's seen these creatures before out in the wasteland.
Okay. Does anybody have medicine as a tagged skill?
Hold on.
Negative.
You don't. I'm looking at yours because I'm using yours as a baseline. So Cassidy, I know you don't.
Fuck.
I do not.
But I have a 2 in it. If that helps.
Same.
It might. So nobody has it as a tag skill, though?
No.
Oh,
Just
I don't
to be
know
certain.
nobody.
Okay. Then I will tell you that there is an opportunity here as you're viewing these creatures for the first time to make a test. It would be a perception plus medicine test. But it is a relatively difficult one. None of you are going to be capable of succeeding unless you spend an action point. Now, I will tell you this. As we're starting, I'm giving you guys the full complement of action points. You do not have these individually. That's not how they work. Action points are stored as a group pool, and there are 6 of them. You earn them back by getting successes over what you need to succeed on something. And then you can use them to do various things. One of them would be to add extra dice to your pool for a check, but it would only be for one of you. So if you want to decide amongst yourselves if you want to do this, you also don't have to make this check at all. But upon seeing them for the first time, there is an opportunity to observe something here about them. Again, to set expectations, baseline, none of you will succeed without spending an action point.
So, for Shannon, I just want to kind of allude to something. Solar flare.
Yeah.
When we have all
flare.
shared resources, this could go poorly.
So I have a perception of 8 with a medicine of 2.
Oh, you're better than me.
Hey, do your
I was
thing.
gonna say I've got a medicine 3, but my perception's only a 4, so that's gonna suck.
Oh,
That may be the best one.
Or we just don't do it.
That too.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's start the game off with a roll.
All right, you know what? All
let
right,
me
all right.
let me quickly remind you guys how the rolls work, and for the benefit of the audience. The 2d20 system is it's like a golf system, like a par system. It's lower. You add up your skill and your trait, and the roll you want to make is under that number. So you're going to roll however many d20s you have to do so, and then however many of them come in under that number, they're treated as successes.
So
A
I need to
roll of a
roll
one
below
is
a
a
10.
Yes, a roll or a 10 or below. It can match
10
the
or
number.
below. Okay.
A roll of a 1 is a critical success. That would give you 2 successes instead of 1. A roll of a 20 is a complication and an automatic failure. So importantly, I guess I could just tell you this one just so that we're all in the clear. This is a test difficulty of 3, meaning that as it stands, not that you cannot succeed, but I shouldn't have said you can't succeed. You have a strong likelihood not to succeed. You would need at least 1 critical success just to get enough to tie the proper number.
This is the first boss fight in Elden
So
Ring.
you get 2 die automatically for the rolls, right?
Correct.
And then
You
add
get
it.
2d20. That's why they call it the 2d20 system. So yeah, you get 2d20 to start out with. You can spend an action point up to I think 3 to add up to 5, but actually it costs more action points to do multiples. Every one over the first one. So the first one costs 1, the next one costs 3, the next one costs like 5 or something. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. So
Okay, I'll
Shep,
roll it if
are
you
you want to
want.
make a roll here?
If the party's okay with it, I'll go for it.
You can roll it regardless. The question
If
is,
it-
do you want to use an action point?
Oh, gotcha.
Do it.
Do
Let's
it?
take a look.
Okay.
Let's
I
keep it
heard
in
to
mind
do
that
it.
without the action point, you cannot succeed.
Yeah, Hunter's already
Right.
heard.
No. I retconned that. I should have made it clear. So this is a test difficulty of 3. He could succeed if he rolls at least 1 critical success and another success, because that would be 3. If you roll a 1, that counts as 2. Right. If you roll 2 ones, that counts as 4, and then you're over the number. But you're going to need at least 1 critical success and no failures.
Oof. Okay.
I say use it if you want. Use 1.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
for
all
it,
right.
Steven.
Let's go for it.
Do it.
All
I
right,
don't.
so that brings the group AP
Already
down to
failed.
5.
All right.
What'd you roll? I'm not even there yet. Hang on.
Oh, 14.
Oh yeah. So one of them is a failure, but you have 2 more to go.
That's
Ooh,
a
that's great.
success.
That is a success. Yep.
Oh, no.
Nope.
Yikes.
This is the wrong game.
This is the wrong game for this.
It is the wrong game for a 20. So you have luck points, right? Do you have anything in the luck skill?
I got 6 luck.
Okay, which means you have 6 luck points. These are all the luck points you will get for this entire adventure. You don't just get those back.
Oh, shit. Okay.
But you can spend 1 to roll a d20 over.
So basically,
I mean, you ain't got no chance as it is, right?
You
well,
cut
it's
out
basically
after
just,
you said- you
basically just
I-
to avoid the crit fail, I would assume.
Yes. Yeah, you can spend 1 to re-roll that.
I will do that.
Okay.
And maybe you'll succeed where others you have failed.
I have 2 successes, but not a third, so
Okay.
I'll leave it there.
Correct. So you are avoiding the crit fail, but you will not succeed on the test in general. It is an overall failure. What I will tell you is this. Something about these super mutants, something about the way they're dressed bothers you. Not bothers you, that's not right. But it does get your attention, Chef. You likely have encountered super mutants living in a barter town like you did for some time. Well, living is a relative term, but you have likely encountered super mutants at some point in time. They don't all dress like this. Most of them do dress kind of in rags, but usually it's just like covering the important bits. These guys are a lot more covered up. Not clear why.
Okay. Like armored or more like just dressed up?
No, it's a light. They have like a light cloth, like you would wrap yourself to go out into the desert. That's what.
Okay, gotcha.
Which of course is where they are. But yeah, something about it doesn't set right with you.
Okay.
So, in the wake of all that, Sally, who is still looking a little nervous but looks a little relieved that most of you don't seem quite as upset, notices that Cassidy and Jacob, you two seem to be maybe the most still kind of tense.
Yes.
And so kind of splitting her attention between the two of you, she says, look, I didn't lead you out here to kill you. All right. I'm just going to be very clear about that. These people And she looks back over her shoulder, looks back at you with kind of an arched eyebrow, like, please agree with me that they're people. They do need your help. They do not mean you harm. She does, again, now look back again and note, and you guys can see without any sort of test that they have weapons. I think I mentioned this last time. Both of them have a 44 pistol in their hands, but they're not aiming them. They just have them at their sides. They both have basic assault rifles that are slung over their shoulders as well. She says they only mean to defend themselves from those who would do them harm. Notice that they are not taking aim at you. I told them what I was doing. I told them I would hopefully come back with help. They understand me. They recognize me. They need your help. I cannot stress this enough.
Approach them carefully but friendly.
Okay.
Hands in the air, as I would do any. So, being somebody discount has been through various different types of situations in the wasteland, mostly looking for a profit, but, motivated in that sense. And so that's taken him into some kind of like dicey situation. So he's probably seen super mutants, so
Sure.
that's acceptable. He knows that they are dangerous, faster than they look, for one, and quicker on the draw and aggressive, but he also knows that he trusts this Sally. So he enters, hands up, as, I don't know, how do you approach super mutants? I'm assuming he knows how to do that in a way that looks less threatening.
Yeah. So they're, if you're just wanting to go kind of like past them into the area, they're not actively blocking the path at this point because Sally's there. You can walk right past them, but if you're wanting, what's your goal here? What do you want to do? You want to go greet them, or like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm kind of greeting them. I mean, treat the CEO and the janitor the same, right? So like, that's my motto. So I greet them. I say, hey, nice sunny wasteland day to you, sir.
Absolutely. Do me a favor there, Discount. Make the test I want you to make is a luck plus speech test.
Luck plus speech. That's going to be
so you have
7 plus 2, so 9.
Okay, yeah, so 9 is the number you need to beat. Do you want to spend any action points right now? Because you have to do that first. Okay, sounds good.
Because we only got 5 left. I don't want to use them all up in the...
I will tell you what you're doing here, essentially, without giving you the difficulty number. What's happening here is that you've already heard them speak a little bit, if you recall at the end of the previous episode, where most super mutants, puny human coming to get, it's like that. They still speak like some form of English. These guys have made these sort of like guttural sounds, but they're not speaking words. Not that you recognize anyway.
Rolled twice. I got 16 and a 9.
Okay, so the 9, you said 9 was the target number, right? That's what you had?
9 was the target number.
So that is one success.
Okay.
I will tell you, overall, that is ultimately that is a failure for what's happening here. Not in the way that you. The complication coming out of that is this. The complication coming out of that is this. You don't bother anybody. You don't like agitate them or irritate them and speaking the way that they do. The one that you were in front of like leans down close to you. You know, super mutants always had that like just kind of like permanent, anger look on their face. He leans down close and looks at you. Looks like he's gonna like kind of yell at you, and then he just goes, and he like tilts his head to the side the way that a dog does, where they just like they're like, "What's happening?" Sally steps over in between the two of you, and she goes, "Let me handle this," and she turns back to one of them, and she starts. It's not ASL, but she starts doing something with her hands, like some kind of signals. She's also not making the same sounds they are, but she's making these kind of like higher and lower pitched, like like sounds. Like she's just communicating in a very almost nonverbal way. And the one that had spoken to you, who she's now speaking to, quote unquote, makes those same sorts of sounds again, but returns in kind of a more less confused and more like they seem to understand what's happening. And she turns back and says, well, this is great. They're very happy to have you here. And they want to welcome you all. She turns and kind of like sweeps her arms toward the inwards of the canyon. They want welcome you all to their home.
Cool.
Please.
Do they do like a fist bump thing at all? Do super mutants do that?
I
don't want to do that. I don't want to make them think that I'm punching them, and then I'll die.
I will say that if you try that, you see him again kind of do that like dog thing, and he kind of like paws at your hand, almost dog again. Like I don't. Okay,
I do it back to him.
Sure. Yeah, and he's like,
now we're having
got
fun.
The gun on the other hand, and he's just confused.
That's
he just looks very confused.
Billy
he just looks very confused the entire time. Okay. So.
I keep going. I've had my fun with Billy.
Anybody else have anything you want to do before you head in?
Cool. Y'all bring y'all's asses up here.
Yeah, what are the rest of you doing while all this is happening?
Once they kind of motion in, I'm going to head up towards the gate to go in.
Okay.
I will follow suit.
Cassidy does not like this. He's not a fan of super mutants, as one would expect. But he's also not stupid, and he knows that he is vastly outnumbered. And since he does have military training and he is an intelligent person, he knows that now is not the time to whip it out and start blasting. So he is going to also follow in cautiously. And when he sees Jessup, he's definitely going to give her a glare as he walks by.
Okay. I'm going to come back to that. Anybody else?
Jacob is definitely watching as Discount is playing some kind of games with a super mutant very uncomfortably.
Okay.
That should have been me playing with that super mutant.
Slowly, like, following along.
Okay. Chef, what about you?
Oh, I thought I said I was just following suit with Luna.
Okay.
Going in.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay. As you all are doing so, let me give you a little idea of what the place looks like. So you wind through a little bit of canyon wall, because again, it is quite literally a canyon. The rock formations start to raise up around you, and so there's kind of a natural sort of door formation here, rather than being a literal gate. It's a little bit of a winding path so that you can't see straight into the place. But when you come around one particular corner, it opens up. It opens up into a little bit of almost like a valley, like a desert valley. Looking around, there are, just at a glance, over 50 people. And I should say over 50 humanoids, because not everyone is a person. Obviously, there are some super mutants there, but it's not just super mutants that inhabit Skull Canyon. There are some humans. There are a couple of ghoul-like people. Looks like folks who have experienced extreme amounts of radiation. It's a mixture. It's not just a super mutant encampment. Yeah, exactly.
I'm comfortable.
Looking around, there are a lot of sort of cobbled together places like you might expect in an encampment like this. A lot of places look like they were kind of thrown up and have just stayed up that way. They kind of patched them together. One place that's clearly meant to be some sort of a food stall is little more than an old range oven that has like an actual fire built underneath it with a pipe sticking out the top of it. It's got some almost like a circus tent basically kind of strapped around it where it can be held together. There are big steaks of meat in the ground that looks like they're roasting as like kebabs. A few other buildings again that are mostly just sort of cobbled together, tin pieces, wooden pieces, just whatever they can do. If everybody would really quick, just make me a basic perception plus survival test. And I will say this is very low stakes, so no need to spend action points here.
I do have a tag in survival.
So
okay, so what that means. Yeah, if you have a tag, oh wow, holy shit, most of you do. All right, so what that means, if you have a tagged skill, when you roll a test that includes a tag skill, you get a critical success on any number below the number of the tagged skill itself. So, for example, I'm looking at Cassidy's. Cassidy, perception plus survival for you in order would be 6 plus 2, right?
Yeah.
So your target number is 8. You score a critical success on a 1 or a 2, as long as it is the number of your tag skill or below it. That make sense?
So all I gotta do is
Yes.
get a 1 or a 2 out of a 20, and I get a critical success.
Yeah.
Correct. You have a higher chance for a critical success.
Oh,
yes.
nice cast.
7
Hey.
plus 3 on mine.
I got
so
13.
it's a 10. And then Jacob, anything 3 or below is considered critical. Remember, you get 2d20 naturally.
Jesus.
I don't want to roll another one.
Yeah, we don't need to roll another one, Kev.
I'm good.
Well, you need to.
I'm good. Damn it.
Well, you need to.
Well, I got a
Damn it.
13. I got a 13
I
and a
I
15.
failed on
succeed.
both.
Yeah.
I got 14 both times.
Ew.
Okay. Basically, what I need is how many successes from each of you?
0 for
I
I
me.
got
One.
critical success. That's 2.
0, 2.
I guess 3, because my first
3.
one was crit.
Okay. And the other one was a success?
It's a 4, yeah, it's a 10, yes.
So the 3 total for you. Yep. Luna?
I failed on both.
Okay. And Jacob?
1.
1 success. So we ran the gamut. 2 zeros, a 1, a 2, and a 3. Got it. The two of you who technically failed here, this is, even though it is not all that different from a lot of other encampments, just the idea, probably, I would say, Luna, you're still taken aback by super mutants in general. You've heard of them, but seeing one up close is a lot. And seeing a bunch of them together and not actively killing people, the way you've been told, is even more so. Cassie, it's similar for you, only you have seen them. None of this is computing for you. And in fact, I assume you're probably still a little angry that any of this is happening in the first place.
Yes.
You don't trust them. You know what these things are capable of. And yet all of this is happening right before your eyes. So is it a ruse? What's going on? You're having trouble kind of parsing out the two situations. Who rolled the 1? Jacob, right?
I
No,
rolled
sorry.
1.
Discount.
Yeah.
Discount got a 1. Discount, you do notice one thing that gets your attention is that some of the mutants where they do have like invisible skin, because all of them are still wearing. Oh, let me change that. What you notice is that all of the super mutants are wrapped the same way as the 2 guards, the 2 sentries that you saw at the front. They're all wrapped up in this cloth. The other inhabitants are not, but these guys are, for whatever reason. Just curious. You've never seen super mutants dressed like this, but why? Not clear. Who got the 2? Jacob's
Maybe
2
I had 1
successes,
as
right?
well.
No, I only had 1 success.
Well, somebody got 3.
I did. Chef did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had 2 then, Discount.
Yeah, I had 2 successes.
I
Yes,
think he took it
okay.
as who had the 1 on the roll, not how many successes.
Sorry, no, I
okay,
meant the
okay,
1
I'm
success, the
not
2
lying.
successes, the 3.
I want to make sure I'm not lying. I rolled a 1
Uh-huh.
and I rolled a fail of my 2.
Okay, so then you had 2
So I
successes.
had 2
correct.
of 3 was a success, right?
Correct, yeah. So let me retcon a little bit. Jacob, you are the one who notices that they're all dressed oddly, but that's really all you get out of it. Discount, you've got that, but you also notice that some of their skin colors seem a bit off. Again, you've encountered super mutants. They're all kind of that same shade of green, unless they're blue, and you've never seen one of those in person, but you've heard about it. These guys don't even look like that. What you've heard these supposed nightkin look like, they don't look like that either. Their skin is more blue-green, sometimes a little grayish, and it even kind of like looks like it might be a little, not scaly is not the right word, but there's some kind of texture there that super mutants don't have, where you can see it, where they're not wrapped up. And in fact, as one walks past you and you see that, you know, part of their wrapping is done, they quickly wrap it back around them.
Trying to hide this.
Maybe not necessarily trying to hide it so much as they just want it covered. Like not trying to hide it from you. It's not like they think you noticed. You don't get the idea that they saw you look and they tried to cover it up really quickly. Just they don't want it exposed for some reason.
Got it. Okay.
And Chef, on top of those couple of things, you then also notice something interesting. None of these mutants on any hand, because you, of course, not having literal hands, notice these kinds of things. None of them have 5 fingers. Well, your phrase, none of them have 4 fingers and a thumb, the way that a human being would, right? Because the super mutants are all born from the forced evolutionary virus and of humans. They have 4. They have 3 fingers and a thumb. Not that it looks like they lost one somewhere. It's not like one was cut off or something like that.
They just screwed like that.
4 digits, yeah, instead of 5 on each hand, all of them. Taking whatever time it takes for you to observe 3, 4, 5 of them, you notice that they're all the exact same. 4 digits each hand.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
They're made that way so people can animate them easier.
It's less to fuck around with. See, if Rob Liefeld had just thought about this, it wouldn't be such a problem for him.
He likes feet.
Well, no, he doesn't. He hates them because he can't draw them right.
That's because he's too busy fantasizing about them in his mouth. I don't know.
You heard it here first, folks. Rob Liefeld hates what he loves. Okay, so Sally kind of does that thing. You know when somebody's introducing you to a new space and it's a very TV movie thing. They turn around and like face you and like spread their arms out and everything's kind of out behind them. She does that. And she says, like, hey, welcome to Skull Canyon. And you see a legitimate smile spread across her face for the first time. She says, as take a look around. Everything I've told you is exactly what I said. These people are peaceful. They deserve your protection. I hope you will agree with me. I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to just do whatever you want to do, walk around, get to know them. And whenever you're ready, and she points over to a really large, like tent-like structure. She says that place over there, you can see there's like some cobbled together wood and metal and stuff underneath it. But it's maybe a little better made than the other places. She goes, that place over there is the town hall. Whenever you're ready, I'll meet you there and we'll go forward. But please, genuinely, I want you to get to know these people. You have my blessing. You have their blessing to do so. If you need anything, please come find me there, and I'll be glad to help. She starts to run off, and then she says, "Oh, sorry. You might have a little difficulty understanding them." And she stops and goes, "Okay, you're not going to be able to understand them at all. We don't know what it is about the FEV that caused them to lose their ability to speak like this, but." Over time, I've gotten used to understanding them. Do what you can non-verbally. Try to show them what it is you're trying to say. If you're really having difficulty, please come let me know, and I'll try to step in and translate for you. Okay.
So Discount takes that immediately, and he sees this as a great opportunity to use his bartering skills to start creating connections. He might not have his Brahmin cart with all of the goods, his big stock, but he always carries things on the inside of the coat.
Of course.
Teddy bears and rock watches.
So he can open it up, right? And show them.
Exactly. Now, you can't
We're not going to burn the duster, Shannon.
No, I mean this breaches beyond character. This is a mycelial network of sorts. But like he goes around and he's starting to show off teddy bears, and he's not really. He can't talk to them, doesn't understand them, but he's showing these things off, and they're like, "Oh, interested in it." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, but money." And so he's trying to sell some wares to build connections.
Okay, let me put a pin in that. I love that, and I want you to do all of that. I'm going to give you some options on kind of how you want to do that in just a minute. Let me lay out a little bit of the land for you guys. Sally, by the way, is still there. She hasn't run off yet. So in case you need something from her, you're welcome to get that before she does and leaves you to your own devices. Looking around, the main things that would catch your attention, there are gatherings of mutants, people, and mixed company alike all around. So if there's like a group you want to talk to, let me know. There are also like a couple of places that look like they might be worth checking out in addition to the town hall, or what she describes as the town hall, that big building. There is also it's a pretty bustling little marketplace, and it's lots of little individual stalls that sell specific things. But the one that seems the most attention getting is looks like some kind of a tech vendor, like someone who has pieces of technology. Yeah. Not just weaponry, but also things like lanterns and multi-tools and that sort of stuff. And then in addition to that, there's a food vendor, the place that I mentioned before with the outdoor oven. There's quite a few people and super mutants alike who are basically forming a line going in and out of there, and they're getting food and they're getting drinks. And so there's a variety of places that you could go. What all do you want to do?
I would like to check my gun in full view of everybody.
Okay, by check your gun, what do you mean? What do you want to do here?
Just kind of pull it out, look it over. Just giving off the knowledge that, hey, maybe he shouldn't be messed with, because he feels a little insecure right now. He feels a little. He feels like a snowflake right now.
Let me ask you this.
He's afraid the mutants are going to try to cancel him.
So I'm not going to make you make a test immediately. In the sense of you're a soldier, man. There's no problem for you to look around and see that other people have weaponry too. Not everybody is displaying a weapon, but it's certainly not the kind of thing that is prohibited here. So what do you want to accomplish here?
Nothing.
What can I give you in terms of a test? I should say, by the way, you guys can suggest tests as well. I have the power to veto them, but if you have an idea for what you think should be a trait test for something, then by all means.
No, he is simply making a statement that, everybody else seems to be going along with this. Discount's super friendly. Fern is not Fern. Ludwig, what's her name?
Fern!
I did change the name on it.
Lonnie Donegan. Luna.
Come on now, balls of steel.
Luna's very
balls of steel.
Luna's very polite. Everyone's very polite about all this, except for Jacob. But he don't know Jacob, and he don't trust hill folk. So any more than he trusts green folk. So he's just displaying his laser pistol. And just looks it over, make sure it's loaded. Kind of aims it up at the sky. He's not aiming at anybody. He's not stupid. Just kind of aims it up in the air, looks down the side of it a little bit, and then he twirls it back into his holster. Yeah,
I will say that while the people around you, like, you might get a couple of cursory glances, nobody is just like, oh my, no pearl clutching, but also no like, oh man, no real strong reactions from the people that are walking through. Sally does sort of take notice, and she, it's not sarcastic. It's not that it's sarcasm, but what she's doing when she looks at you and says, yeah, I think that thing's gonna come in handy when you're, doing exactly what I'm hoping that you'll do, that I hired you to do.
And he will tell her that there are some things more important than bottle caps, and kind of give her the finger gun and go and then walk off and go mingle.
Okay.
He's not in it for the money. Bottle caps mean nothing to him.
While Jacob is always very cautious and always, keeping his head on a swivel, he does like his food, especially when he gets a chance to try new food, because he's never gotten to try anything different. So he's wanting to go check out what's being cooked.
All right, very good. Heading over to the food stand. We'll come back to that. What about the rest of you?
Being that Luna sucks at talking to people, she's just gonna plaster a smile on her face. Because she was brought up raising, if you smile, people will think you're friendly. And she's probably going to hang by Cassidy just because she knows him the most from the other group.
He's very happy about that. You can see it on his face.
Okay. All right. Chef, what about you?
Good question. I guess I still need to find some soil for the pot that I found. So I guess just see if there's any dirt that looks like it'll be able to grow some seeds.
Just pick it at the ground.
Okay. You're that kid that when they're playing t-ball, you're out in left field just sitting down, like pulling the grass out of the ground, right?
Grass out, yep.
Straight up a right fielder.
All right, I'm going to try to take these sort of in order going back to the top there. It's not an initiative thing, but just so everybody's kind of moving your stories along. Okay, so discount. There are a handful of different people who you can attempt to sell your wares to, but there is also, again, a collection of vendors. The one who really sort of sticks out, again, is the tech vendor. You can see that this person has like some pretty high-tech stuff on display for it to be out in the middle of nowhere here. If anybody gets your attention as a vendor, it would be them. But there's also people you could try to sell to. So, You tell me. What do you prefer here?
I mean, I'm always looking for a profit. I'm,
Sure.
bouncing around, showing off the wares. But
Yeah.
as I do so, I'm doing so in a way that brings me more. Actually, let me ask a clarifying question here.
Mm-hmm.
The market, so to speak, is it set up in a way like, is it off to the side of the room where they have their own kind of like little tables and whatnot?
Yeah, so basically if this is like a big circular kind of like washout, like a basin like in the middle of the canyon, it's all kind of lined up against like one curved wall. And you can tell that there's spaces where people wheel carts in and out. Sometimes they have like a secondary path that kind of, so they're on both sides of you. Right now it's bustling would be a strong word, but it's relatively busy. I mean, and again, there's everything from food to weaponry to junk.
I'm definitely like, again, I'm gravitating toward this more tech booth. Caps is a high priority for discount.
Sure.
Looking at discounts, but he's also a negotiator. He's all up for some trade. Teddy bear for a typewriter, so to speak.
Of course.
So he's at the tech, and he's just kind of, that's what he's doing. He's spending his time perusing the wares that might interest him that he could set up for resale value. So he's looking at thrift store, swap meet style kind of shit going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. That place is again probably the busiest of them all for whatever reason, because again, this is not day-to-day stuff. I mean, you see just looking around at what's kind of penned up against the back wall, things like toolkits, like flashlights, stuff that you don't normally see just kind of laying around. It looks like there's a potentially a working radio, some repair kits for robots. There are a couple of weapons like shock and stun batons that are back against the back wall.
Is there anything in particular that is like all of these things that you're describing, flashlights, I've seen them in more or less rarity out in the world as a collect, different rare items. Is there anything in particular at the tech vendor or those that I've walked by that is unique, that is something I've never noticed before that catches my attention?
That's a good question. As you are sort of perusing these wares, do me a favor, make a I'm gonna let you make a perception test with either the skill either being science or energy weapons, whichever you have a higher score in.
Neither, but okay.
Yeah, this stuff is pretty high tech, as best you can tell.
Not happening there.
Okay.
I got that one, so one success.
One success. Okay. This is not stuff that you see every day.
And mind you, this is a success under a 5.
Okay, yeah. This is not stuff that you see every day, and to the point that you don't really even recognize what some of this stuff is. Like, you can tell maybe what it used to be if you had more time to look at it, but looking from behind the counter, basically looking to the opposite side without it right there in your hands, it looks like there's some pretty high end stuff here for this place to be out in the middle of nowhere. There is, after a little bit of looking, there's a super mutant that wanders your way. A bit more wiry than some of the others. You notice what little bit of skin you can see, behind those wrappings is like a pale gray, bald head, like all of them are. And they've been helping like some other customers and moving about it. You can see other people kind of doing the like hand gestures, like trying to tell them what they want, like making a crank motion and that kind of stuff. And they come over to you and you see them kind of like from behind the counter, like line up with you and go, and he just kind of like puts his hands up. You can tell he knows what this gesture means. Like, huh? It looks like he might be trying to ask you if you're looking for anything specific.
Yeah. I just kind of point at. Sorry, I'm trying to visualize in my head like anything on this in this area that would be of interest to me.
Sure.
I think as far as for me, I will continue just kind of like trying to communicate with this super mutant. If you want to look to the others there,
we will. We'll come back to that. We'll figure out how successful you are at that in just a little bit. I believe Cassidy, you were next, right? You and Luna were next.
Yeah.
So as the two of you start making your way sort of into town proper, much like the others are doing, Cassidy, the person who probably might catch your attention the most is human. The super mutants at this point, even if they are different, all kind of look the same to you, and it maybe has you a little on edge. But there is a human that catches your attention. Real weathered, real grizzled guy. Looks like he might be a merc, have been a merc. It's not really clear. He's got a real kind of rugged beard and this worn leather jacket. And he is off to the side of one of the market stalls. He and another human being, a tall, pretty muscular guy with short blonde hair and really bright blue eyes. And they seem to be having a conversation. It looks like they're not necessarily trying to keep it hush, but it is definitely not something that's meant for the group at large.
I am going to look at Luna and give her some unsolicited advice, as he often does, and tell her, if you want to make it out here, listen to me. Stand there, be quiet, don't talk to anyone, and for the love of Christ, stop smiling. And then he's going to walk over.
I don't talk to them.
What's that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you cut out.
How can I help them if I don't talk to them?
Why would you want to help them?
That's what we're here for.
We're here for one job, not to be friendly with the locals.
We're here to help these people. That's what Sally asked.
And what are you going to do?
I'll figure that out somehow.
We'll figure it out right here, he says as he points at the ground. And don't talk to anybody. And stop smiling. I will be right back. He feels like her father at this point. He just stares at her and then slowly turns. And he is going to try to overhear this conversation without getting too close.
She's going to keep following him.
Ooh. Okay. That's going to be, let's make that, then, Cassidy, a perception plus sneak check.
Well, all I got to do is get under a 7. I've got the die here, Hunter, in this vault behind this painting. Oh, by George, it's gone.
By George, it's gone.
All right, so I'm looking for under a 7.
Okay.
Well, that ain't it.
Oh.
Balls.
Let's try one more.
Balls of steel.
That ain't it either. I'm really bad at everything. I don't think I've rolled.
It's okay.
Just bad at
All
everything.
right. So how many luck points do you have? Do you want to try to reroll one of those, maybe?
Yeah, I got a 4, so let's do it.
Okay. So that'll bring you down to 3.
And you don't gain any more on rest. It's just this is how many
This
you
is
get for
it.
the entire.
You get them for the whole
it's
adventure.
the exact same. It's the exact same rolls.
Oh. Okay.
And no.
I have issues with the Fallout dice system. I always have.
Well, it's meant to be chaotic. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
whole thing. So there's another version of this game that's a D100 system.
Oh, God.
And that's a
damn.
lot. Yeah.
Well, just out of curiosity, I'm going to roll a D100 and watch it be lower than what I just rolled.
Watch it be a crit success.
I'm just curious.
That's not the one. Oh,
That's not it.
That is a
That's not
D100.
Yeah, it's a D100.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Luna, you said you were following while this was happening, right?
Yes.
Okay. Are you basically, is it like a cartoon, like walk this way kind of thing, and you start like mimicking his
A
motion?
little
Is
bit,
that
yeah.
because that's what I'm imagining. Like the way you described it, that's what I'm hearing. I would like for you then to make for me a charisma plus sneak check.
Oh, why couldn't have I had that? My charisma's
It's
so
gonna
much
be the
higher.
exact same as if I was doing perception.
Well, you were
My
actually trying
target
to
is
be
also
sneaky.
7.
Okay, you were actually trying to be sneaky. There's a different thing happening.
I'm not trying to be sneaky at all. Well, that's a 10. And that's a 20.
Ooh.
Oh my god,
this is
you
going
guys
terribly.
need these 20s elsewhere. Okay.
Yeah, right?
You have any luck? Would you like to re-roll it?
So So here's what happens. Well, a 20 means you gotta. Yeah, I was gonna say unless you're gonna spend a luck point and re-roll it, I get.
Yeah,
a
I will.
here.
I will, because that's bad.
Okay. Yep.
And that's a 4, so
There
that
we
one
go.
works.
That's a success. Okay, good
Shannon,
enough.
that's how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what happens. Kazi, you're trying to describe to me how you're trying to listen in on this conversation without being seen or paid attention to.
Just walking up close, like kind of walking by close enough where you can overhear what they're saying, and then he just kind of stops and looks up, kind of looks around, like he's looking for something and pretending he's not listening.
Okay. And then Luna, describe exactly what it is you're doing.
Probably just following him. Like, I'm not even really paying attention to the guys other than just my ears are always open. So
Okay.
I'm literally just picking up my surroundings.
All right. Here's what happens. Cassidy, as you pass these two guys, it's not that they are trying to hide their conversation from you necessarily, but so you do hear a little bit of what they're talking about. The one in the leather jacket is talking to the taller blonde guy, and he says something about, you don't get everything, but something about the NCR and a new outpost. You get that much, and that's about it. The blonde guy then says something about troopers and missing. But again, that's as much as you catch there. About the time that maybe it looks like, especially the leather jacket guy is maybe getting a little suspicious of why you hung out too long, is basically what it is. It seems like maybe they're a little suspicious of why you're just hanging out near there, and you see him out of the corner of your eye, like kind of toss the side of his jacket aside. He very much has a big iron on his hip. He's got a nice big 10 millimeter. And he goes to say something, but about that time, Luna, you kind of just like cross paths with them. And the guy with the leather jacket kind of backs off, like he pretty quickly throws that jacket back over that and goes, sorry, ma'am. And he turns and goes back to where his blonde friend is. He says to him, come on, let's go somewhere a little quieter. And they walk off into the rest of the market.
I'll make a mental note of that.
Okay. I'm going to put a pin in that. Jacob, you were checking out the food, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, again, there's a line about 5 or 6 deep, and it's mixed between mutants and humans and other people as well, of who's feeding what. There is a big, burly super mutant who seems to be manning the kitchen, like even a little bigger than the others. He looks weathered as well. You can see from a distance that what little bit of his skin you can see is very like wrinkly, like he's been around for a while, very leathery. He's got a very colorful assortment of all sorts of salvage stuff that he's using as kind of makeshift cooking equipment. He seems to be tossing something that he's frying over the stove in like a hubcap, and just basically anything he can get to make it work. He also, you notice very quickly, does not have any kind of like servers or anything. It's quite literally, you get in line, you place your order with that sort of unintelligible, the mutants speak that way to each other. The humans, again, kind of keep trying to make some semblance of it. And they're walking away with all kinds of stuff. Over the course of the time, you see lots of grilled meat, some of which you recognize, especially those long, spindly bug legs that are obviously parts of a rad roach. Some that you maybe don't recognize, but I am curious if perhaps you do. Go ahead and make me a perception plus survival check.
So that is 10 with a tag.
Okay.
All right, first one's a 7.
Okay, so that's a success.
The second one's a 19.
Okay, so one success. While you don't necessarily recognize the other bits of meat that are coming from there, here's what you do notice. In the time that the people in front of you go through getting their food, or their drinks for that matter, because there are also lots of drinks that are going away from there. where the humans are eating the kind of stuff that you're used to seeing. Again, one part's obviously a bit of rat roach meat. The mutants are all eating stuff that looks a lot slimier. Like for a split second, you think this might be like some kind of seafood, like squid or something. I mean, literally stuff that you've maybe read or heard about, but probably never seen. And yet there's not enough water around here for that to be the case. It's like worm-like type stuff, and they're kebabs. It's like some sort of like almost like a tentacle that there's this big sharpened stick has been shoved through, and they are going to town on this stuff. But exclusively, that is what they eat.
Is there like a smell to the area?
I mean, no more so than because he's cooking so many different things, like nothing that really catches your attention, any different than anything else. All of this stuff is being cooked over the same fire. And by the time that it gets away from the cooking space, like it all kind of smells the same, if I'm being honest. The only thing that might cause any kind of different sense are the drinks. While you might not be able to understand all the things that are being said, you do see that one of the humans has kindly set up like a written board that explains what some of the things are. And it says that there is the specialty drink is the Skull Canyon shot. It costs 20 caps, but it promises to pick you up when you're feeling down.
Well, I peruse my way over to that because I'm not one to bypass any, good spirits.
Sure.
And I'll spend 20 caps on that.
Okay. All right. So, the big, overly large super mutant who's behind the counter, who comes around to kind of try to serve you, has got that permanent grimace on his face, and he kind of makes some unintelligible noises. Before you try to communicate with him, there is a human. There's a human woman who kind of steps in and says, "Sorry, please allow me." And she turns and starts kind of making similar sounds and again, moving her hands in a way that seems to be understandable. She turns back to you and says, "I'm just sorry to assume you want one of these, right?"
Yeah, yes, yeah, I would.
Yeah, oh, okay. I got you. Hang on. She goes back and explains, and you see after a second that the mutant behind the counter seems to get the idea. He turns around and he lets out what you can charitably describe as a super mutant laugh, though those are not very common, and it's kind of hard to figure out what that sounds like.
A little chill up my spine.
Yeah, probably. I would say that's a pretty accurate expectation. While he's making the drink, the woman turns back and says, "Sorry, Hank sometimes doesn't quite." He still has trouble communicating with some of us, and you're clearly new around here. She sticks out her hand and makes a point to say that her name is Sarah, and that she's been here for a little while now. So if you need help getting around, she'll be glad to do what she can to help out.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm gonna enjoy this shot. I may go peruse the food and see if maybe anybody's got any iguana on a stick. I'm feeling a little famished.
You notice, by the way, while this is happening, that she called him Hank. Hank is making the shot over her shoulder. You literally see him pick up a power cell and crack it open like you would crack an egg. He pours part of that into the glass, what you can charitably call a glass. It's just like a cut off part of a metal container. And then he grabs a bottle of vodka and fills the rest of it with that. He takes it and sloshes it around a little bit and then slides it over toward you.
My eye is getting extra wide. Thanks for this, friend. I'll just take this over here and drink it.
Okay.
Picks it up and walks away slowly.
Okay.
Not
the woman as
you're going to find something and store it.
Okay. The woman, as you're walking away, says, There's a reason they call him Happy Hank. Again, let me know if you need anything. And she goes to leave. I'll say you don't have any difficulty finding some way to store this. I can't tell you what it does without you either taking it or taking a look at it, though.
I will take a gander at it, maybe giving it a little sniff.
Okay. Let's again make this a. You know what? Let's make this an endurance plus survival check. While you're not actively enduring it yet, I think that's
9 on that one.
Yeah, that's going to be a more accurate test here.
That's a failure.
Okay.
That is also. Oh no, it's just barely a success.
Okay. All right.
So
So,
I have
one
one
success.
Yep.
Okay. While that is a crazy as hell way to make a drink, you do get the idea that there might be some benefit to it. Is it going to cause you some stomach aches? Probably. Like, obviously, there's going to be some radiation damage there, but it's not the craziest thing you've ever heard. And you get the idea that this guy wouldn't be serving them up on the daily, or that this woman probably wouldn't have let you buy one if there was a chance that it would directly hurt you. So you don't have to take it now, but you don't get the immediate suggestion that this is extremely bad news. It has its benefits and it has its drawbacks. Put it that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna store it for now. I may come back to that another time.
Okay, so just write down that you have a Skull Canyon shot drink on you, and then when you take it, we'll talk about what happens with it. Okay, let's say the next little bit of this is all going to kind of happen at once. Most of you are now kind of roughly in the same place, and you're close enough to where Discount is, where he is. Engaging at this tech shop to potentially see what happens next. I need everybody to make a luck plus survival test. Sorry, I'll take that back. Luck plus either survival or sneak, whichever is better.
Oh.
I failed both mine.
Okay.
Hey, I got a 1. No, I didn't.
Okay.
Nope. I accidentally hit a button behind it. That doesn't count. Because I did a 1d20 slash by accident.
I see. I say it still rolled a 1. I don't know what that slash did, but
still rolled.
Yeah, we're gonna count that. I'm counting it.
Yeah. Don't take yourself out of the game.
I like to be fair,
especially because
the Brotherhood of Steel doesn't lie.
It doesn't look like it
them
affected
ethics.
it. So
yeah,
ethics get you killed out in this fucking wasteland.
we're ethical.
So remember, criticals are 2 successes.
All right, I ain't rolled mine yet.
I rolled a 4 and a 20.
That's your second 20 in the past 2 encounters.
Ooh.
All right, here we go.
Before I get all the numbers, tell me if you're going to spend any luck points or anything like that.
Yes, I'm not sitting on that.
You don't want to keep that 420?
No.
Remember, you're not getting those back. Those luck points are
I
one-offs.
know. That's fine.
If you use a luck point, do you get to roll the 2 dice again, or just
Nope.
one?
just the
Just
one.
You can use a luck point to roll any 1d20 that you want anywhere, anytime.
Fuck it. I'll
still
simmer in my
still just the
failure.
1 success.
Okay, do we have all the rolls at this point?
Yeah, I
I'm
failed
gonna
miserably.
use a luck point because I failed.
Okay.
That's better. That's a success.
Okay.
Oh,
So
my
let's get them
God.
across the board. How many successes do we have, Cassidy?
I had the 1-1 and then a failure.
So 2 successes.
Yeah.
Luna,
1 success.
1 success.
Oh, hey,
Discount.
I meant to ask, you said, what was it about tag things? If you roll does that change the
If you're using a tagged skill, then anything that rolls underneath that tag skill is also a critical success.
So would I have 2 2 successes then, since I had a 1 because my survival is tagged?
No, it can only ever proc once there.
Draz. Okay.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but tags are only under skills, not under attributes, right?
Correct. You only ever tag skills. Yep.
Got it.
So we have 2 successes. We have 1 success. Discount, what do you got?
I rolled 2 of them. They were both failures, but I wanted to wait until the dust settled if I can do a luck.
Uh-huh.
Failed again, so fuck it.
Okay. Chef, you said it was all failures?
All fails.
All right. And Jacob?
1 success.
1 success. Okay. So, for the 2 of you who failed, Chef, you at this point, you're looking around this stall, probably looking up and down at the other stalls, basically looking for somebody who is, again, actively selling junk. This stall's a little too high-tech for you. If you're needing soil and those sorts of things, you're not going to find it there. So you're too busy to notice this going on. Discount, you are desperately engaged in barter, right? You are really wanting to get some money flowing here. And so what's happening, you are not noticing.
It's but I do have we'll come back to that. I have an idea on this.
Okay, that's fine. For those of you with the 1 success, you are near enough to the tech vendor at this point to see that while other people are perusing, including some of your party mates, there's a human, a sort of shifty-eyed woman, dark hair, got a lot of it covered up with a cloak, who looks like she's looking at like some kind of a strobe beacon, like some kind of light source. And a minute later, she starts to walk away. You think she might have pocketed it, like it didn't make its way back onto the shelf. Cassidy, it's no question for you. You saw this happen in plain sight. This woman took a look at the strobe beacon. She perused it briefly. She looked around to see if anybody was noticing. She slipped it into a pocket inside her sleeve, the sleeve of her robe, and she started walking away very quickly. You know precisely where she is going and who she is. Like amongst the crowd, that is. Sorry, you don't know literally who this person is.
I was about to say,
you
that's news to me.
You can keep an eye on her. You can keep an eye on her as she moves through the crowd.
And I'm going to do that. I'm going to follow her and see where she goes.
Okay.
Well, actually, is there any way I could get in front of her? Like, is she already out, or could I stop her?
So she is not running yet, only because you haven't like spiked her attention. You tell me, what do you think would be a good test for you to try to stop her here before she starts to run?
Well, let's play to my advantages. How about if you would to kind of accidentally, quote unquote, accidentally bump into her as she's going out and just try to charm her, apologize, flash a smile, maybe even put up some small talk with her just to kind of distract her and keep her there.
Okay. So then this would be, I'm going to say, what, charisma plus strength? I mean,
speech.
Geez, speech.
Yeah,
charisma plus speech.
Yes.
I'll let it happen.
The one thing I should have the best chances in, because it's a 12, but
yes.
Let's see what happens. All right, well, that's 1.
That's 1 success.
So that's pretty good.
And you have 4 points in that. All right, that's an 18. So that one's a failure, but you do have 1 success here.
Yeah.
You want to re-roll anything before I tell you what happens?
Yeah, screw it. I'm going to use a luck to re-roll that last one. Why not?
Okay.
I need to do something good for myself. And that's it. That's the
now
good
that's
one.
There it
That's
is.
the good one.
Yeah, that's a massive success. So tell me what you say. So you step in front of this woman in such a way that you're doing a good job of, like, you bumped into her by accident. You're trying to keep her distracted. You're not making it clear that you know what's going on. What do you say to her?
I look up. So we bump into each other. He kind of looks at her, smiles. He's a very handsome fellow. He smiles at her. Is she attractive? Is the question.
I mean, this is a conventional question.
Wasteland.
So, yeah, I was going to say it's the wasteland. So everyone is you got to temper your expectations about this thing here.
Small
But
town
She's
approximately your age.
She's
and
she's a Mojave 7.
Hang on, I gotta go change a name in the group chat real quick. here's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to try to describe this person. Yes.
Yeah.
For your purposes, yes, she is.
That was to say, because I was going to pull the old the Troy McClure, and he sees her, and if she was unattractive, he's going to go, hello, beautiful. But since she's relatively attractive anyway, basically he apologizes and says that he's new in town and he has no idea where he's going, and here he is bumping in to the most beautiful person he's seen in this town yet, and smiles at her and apologizes.
All right. She immediately kind of fumbles her words. You can tell that she's like caught off guard by this, trying to look for a way out. I mean, you've been in enough situations similar to this to see what's happening. She's looking for a way out, but she can't quite find one. You're doing a good job of keeping her contained. Those of you who got single successes, you know that if you're going to take a chance to act, this is it. If you're going to do something to try to stop this thievery, what do you want to do?
Is that me too, or just them? Because I've got distracted, I'm assuming, right? So it's up to them.
I'm treating. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm treating yours as you're keeping her in place without making a scene.
Jacob will kind of like slink up behind her and, slowly but firmly place a hand on her shoulder.
Okay. Luna, you were the other one, right?
I'd come up beside Cassidy and kind of follow suit and be like, "You okay?"
To me, it's to her.
So,
to her.
So here's what I'm thinking. This is kind of an intimidate thing. So let's combine strength plus speech. Now, whichever one of you has the higher skill to that, we're going to take yours as the main role. The other one of you is going to be aiding them. We'll talk about that in a second. Who has the better chance?
Aiding.
Minus 10 altogether.
So I have a 6.
Well, I'm looking at just Jacob and Luna.
Yeah, nothing in speech.
So what would you be your strength plus speech then?
8 in total.
8, and Luna, what's yours?
6, because I also have nothing in speech.
Okay, so Jacob, let's have you make the main role, and Luna, you're going to assist. So Luna, you roll 1d20. Jacob, you're rolling 2.
Okay.
Who's going first here?
It doesn't matter. We'll take them all at the same time.
Whatever.
Hardcore, we'll do them both. Ow. Ow.
Ow, ow.
Come on, Lindsay, get the 20.
Nope.
Well, all 3 of those are failures, as it stands. So... Oh, shit. All right, Cassidy. You've got her pretty well in play. You've got her almost exactly where you want her. At the very least, she is distracted. The two of these other two come up though, and rather than the very suave, like, hey, just so you know we're here kind of thing, Jacob, as soon as you clamp a hand down on her shoulder, she jumps and turns. It really startles her. Luna, you come in, and what was it you said? You
okay?
I said, "Oh, hey, are you okay?"
She looks like a crazy person when she says it. It's
it's way too much. It's way over the top, and this also startles her. This woman is going to make a break for it, so I'm going to need one of you to attempt to. If you want to try to stop her, what do you want to do here, Cassidy?
Well, I was going to. I don't know. There is no what would intimidation be? Because basically, since he knows she's going to run, he's just going to tell her that very kind of quietly to her, and he's gonna. I'm assuming that these people know what the Brotherhood of Steel is, right? Like these people aren't stupid.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna tell her, you know who I am, you know who I represent. I have a laser gun on my hip that I will use on you if you try to run away because I know what you did.
Okay. So intimidate is generally treated as strength plus speech.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
Too good.
I will tell you, this is high stakes in the sense that if you don't succeed, she is going to run.
Damn it.
You can
First roll is
an action point.
very bad. Oh, fuck, I forgot about the action points. I'm not that good at this. I still have more luck,
I'll let you spend one now if you want.
Action points.
All right, yeah. What does that mean again? It was something good, right?
So that takes one from the group pool. Which actually, you guys are back up to 6 right now because at least one time you've gotten one more success over what you needed. So
nice.
We'll just let it even out. Roll another d20.
All right, so that's one success.
We're not replacing one. You're just adding one here.
While he's rolling that, I just want to be sure of something. I am definitely not near the conversation. So, like, the fact that I don't know what they're saying is a good thing, right?
Yes. Probably.
No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you were engaging it with the shop owner.
Keep on,
himself.
keep it on.
Distracted by
Can,
trying to find some dirt.
Can you luck and action point? Is that possible?
Yeah, they're not the same thing.
I got to do with
Remember,
things.
you only got enough
It's
luck.
just when you
I know.
run out of luck, you run out of luck.
Look, live fast, die
You don't
young.
have any more.
Bad girls do it well.
Well, at least it wasn't a critical failure. I have one success.
Okay. So here's what's going to happen. The woman. Here's what you're saying, right? You clamp down on her shoulder. You tell her, "Here's the situation." She looks at you with this sort of like kind of crazed look in her eye, and she basically says, "You'll have to catch me first." She throws an elbow into your stomach. And it's just enough. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't. Let me rephrase. It hurts. It doesn't deal any damage or anything to you, but it is enough to at least kind of push you off balance. And she starts to run.
I want to bolt after her.
I want to shoot her in the back.
So here's the thing. You got one success. I will allow you to take a shot at her with that one success if you want, knowing full well that that is what you are doing, and that if you do this, there is a strong possibility you will kill this woman.
Did she do something worth death?
She hit me.
Can he
She's a
bats
thief.
and aim
Who
for
cares? You're a
them?
Sith, man. I don't want to hear you judge
no.
me.
Damn.
Let me clarify. He had one success here, so this is one of those all or nothing situations. This is reactionary. There is no time to. This is the one like bonus I'm granting of she didn't just get away.
Gotcha.
It is the wasteland. I mean,
I'm not a Sith in the wasteland. I'm a Sith in the gangland.
now could I pull the laser pistol and at least give her a warning and say stop or I will shoot before I shoot?
No, it's too
I
late
got
for that.
one success for
You guys have talked enough to this woman that at this point, no, it's talky, no more talky.
Kill it.
She's no longer going to be convinced by anything by that. So yeah, you have one opportunity here. You can shoot her, potentially kill her, but also stop this thief, or you can let her go.
Wait, does he have VATS?
No. Well,
Can't shoot her in the
That's what I
leg.
just asked.
no, because he doesn't have a pit boy. You only get VATS if you have a pit boy.
Damn you, Luna! Why couldn't you have a gun? You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna shoot her, Hunter. Because
I have the gun, but I'm not the one who got the success.
I'm gonna shoot her.
All right. All right. So you're using an energy weapon. I'm trying to remember. Is it intelligence? Is that your attack?
Discount is legit turning around at this point, going, "What the fuck is happening?" And now it's popcorn time.
All I have is so I didn't buy any more stuff. I forgot to. I'm gonna be honest, but I do have a laser pistol. It's perception.
Is it perception? Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember. I knew there was a specific. I was looking for it right now. So it's perception plus what? Energy weapons?
Yeah,
Okay.
which is a tag skill.
All right, so that's a bonus. Go for it.
Yeah, this is probably gonna end poorly. Well, that's a fail. And that's a 2, and that's under my energy weapon.
That's 2 successes.
Yep.
You pull out your laser pistol. This woman gets maybe 6 steps into this bolting run. You pull out your pistol, you fire, the bolt shoots out, and it strikes true. I mean, you're a good shot. Strikes her square in the back. You hear a and she like kind of lifts up into the air and then collapses on her face. She skids to a stop. The strobe beacon rolls out of her sleeve, basically. And so all at once there is this gasp from the crowd. Everyone parts, makes their way back. Actually, they'd already started doing that once you pulled the weapon and aimed it. While most of these people have weapons, that's a direct threat, right? So all at once. What's that?
I said he pulled his sword out in the Dothraki campsite. No swords
So
allowed.
all at once, a bunch of different things kind of start happening. Several people move in to try to help her. They roll her over. She's dead. She's definitely dead. You don't hear anyone call out a specific name, nor does anyone burst into tears or anything like that, but there clearly is like a call for a medic. Can we get some help? It's human voices mixed in with what are clearly the mutant equivalents of that. This kind of odd mutant speech. A couple of the mutants kind of make their way toward your group, but they're not brandishing weapons. You can just see that they're moving over to see what happened. They start speaking in that unintelligible language, and a split second later, Sally kind of parts through the both of them, turns, looks at them, puts her hands up, looks back to your group, and goes, "What the hell just happened out here?"
Cassidy's gonna holster his weapon and say, "She was a thief. I tried to stop her. I tried to talk to her."
She walks forward and grabs you by the collar, and she goes, "Are you out of your fucking mind?"
He just stares at her and kind of brushes her hand away and says, "She's a thief. I tried to stop her. I tried."
In the background, those of you who aren't directly involved in this conversation, you see that a couple of the super mutants have come along with what amounts to like a makeshift stretcher, basically. Like there's a couple of like poles and they got some kind of canvas stretched out between them. They gently pick this woman up and they put her onto this thing, and then like old school ambulance, like they walk off with her. It looks like they walk out the other end of the canyon. Like when you guys came in, there's like one section, there's this big kind of washout basin. They walk past those buildings and out like the opposite end, like they're leaving the canyon itself, kind of in the background of all this conversation. Sally Cassidy, she looks at you again and just like, she turns around, like she literally just like grunts as she clenches her fist. She turns around to the other mutants and she starts just like, you can see she's desperately trying to like, it's not really calm them down, but so much is just explain what was going on. She points over at the beacon on the ground. You can see them looking back and forth. What they're saying, again, not really clear. It's not really anger, but there's definitely a hint of, didn't you say these people were here to protect us? Whatever it is, it's not even really disappointment. It's concern. It's maybe a little bit of fear.
There it is. That's what the Brotherhood lives on. Now Cassidy's feeling the endorphins.
Eventually, she kind of waves them back toward the town hall, and she, as they go to leave, she like stops. She takes a big breath. She puts her hands on her hips and she turns back to everyone. Again, she's only been talking to Cassidy for this entire time. When she turns back, Cassidy, she won't even look at you. She looks at anyone else who's assembled in this space at this point and goes, "Let me try this again with people who are a little more rational." She throws you a glare. "What the fuck just happened?"
Cassidy's just gonna walk and start looking around at the items in the shop since no one wants to listen to him.
Discounts like what happened?
And he was trying to stop her.
And he's gonna look back and go, "I did try to stop her."
"You shut the fuck up," she says from across the way. She goes back to the rest of you. "Is this true?"
It's laying on the ground right there that she pocketed.
This is true.
She goes over to it and picks it up. She kind of like kicks it up with the toe of her boot and then like catches it in her hand and starts looking it over. You hear her just like kind of under her breath. Thing's worth 25 caps at best. Hell was she running off with it? She takes another big breath and turns back and says, "Look." She walks over to the stall, sets it on the counter. She says, I appreciate what you're trying to do here. I do. All right. I know it doesn't sound like it. She throws you again a look, Cassidy. She goes, but you've got to understand, this is a delicate situation. These people are already on edge. The last thing they need is strangers, even with my endorsement, walking in here and murdering people.
Oh.
We deal with thieves. No, you listen to me.
Oh, that was Shanna saying it, not Cassidy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I slipped into work voice there.
I saw that. I heard it.
What'd you want to say?
Oh, well, I was going to wait for her to finish, and then I had something to follow up on.
Okay. She says, we're trying. You see it like she's not getting, she's not crying or anything when I say getting upset, but like she's really trying to convey this. It's a very emotional moment for her. And she just says, we're trying to do things a different way out here. And I get that that's not the way of the world. I get that. I shouldn't have left you alone, and maybe that's on me. And you were just trying to do the right thing. Again, Cassidy, she looks at you for a little longer this time. And I get that too. But please, don't do that again. I would rather someone run off with goods here and be dealt with appropriately or not be dealt with at all than to be dealt with like that.
And now is when Cassidy turns to her and walks up to her and says, well then, how about instead of having us mingle with people that I don't want to mingle with in the first place, you tell us why the hell we're actually here and we get down to business instead of little incidents like this potentially happening again in the future. We didn't come here to make friends. We came here for a job. What's the job? You want us to help these people? Then tell us.
She lets out another big sigh. This time she crosses her arms across her chest and goes, yeah, okay. All right. I'm going back over to the town hall. Come along. Or don't. However you want to do this, whenever you're ready. But please, when you do, leave that thing in its holster. And she turns on her heel and starts to walk away.
Cassie could just feel the eyes of his companions burning a hole into him. This is again.
This isn't.
This is again where I want to point out one of, they don't know this, and of course this is out of character, but one of his dirty little secrets is that killing comes naturally to him. It's not something he's going to lose sleep over.
Yeah. I'm going to give this a second if there's anything you guys want to do before anybody leaves.
Sorry.
Yeah, I want to see Discount finish up his marketplace after that happened.
Well, Discount is not one for like definitely jumping to violence initially. So he is taken aback by this because this is functionally impacting his profit. This has had a negative impact on his dealings with those in the marketplace. So he is absolutely displeased, which is not usually a state of being for Discount. So he's definitely taking a step back and questioning. He's going to be a lot more weary of letting Cassidy, or not letting, but at least, operating within a place where his reputation is at stake from his comrades here.
Anybody else?
I'd mostly just hunt for Chef because I know he can get more distracted than I can.
Chef, what are you doing?
I guess I was just perusing the vendors as usual, seeing if anyone has some good dirt. I don't know if they want to sell to me because I don't think I have the necessary currency for it.
It's if there's a bright little light in all of this, there is no better comedic situation than Chef, who is a robot, trying to buy things from vendors who don't understand him, who also don't understand that he's trying to buy things because they don't seem to recognize you as like capable of doing shit on your own. And then like maybe you do kind of find the thing that you want, but you don't have any way to pay for it. So if you go to take it, like they're gonna grab your arm and like pull you back. Like no.
It's like, but I need it. That's what I want.
Doesn't he have a screen on the front of his thing where he could like
create
imagery?
No, not a Mr. Guts.
No. I just have the eye optical
eyeballs and hands.
Got it.
Yeah,
I was trying to.
Before,
I think iBots do
You
have
use
some
AI
like
to
that,
understand the guttural references that are going on here and create a generative language layer that he can respond with.
No, we didn't get that far. Remember, the music's only up to the 50s, so
Damn it! Bitch.
No mumble rap.
no mumble rap. They didn't
do
get
have,
there.
for the record, I do have one thing that I want Discount to do before you leave.
I also have one thing, just as an off comment.
Shut up, Killer.
Before Cassidy is his name, by the way. It's not Killer. I'm not Adolf Hitler.
I don't know.
Cassidy.
So
So
make sure we put some extra cream in your coffee.
he sees Luna go off and look for Chef. Not sure how she is. He sees that discount, even though you can't tell underneath the bird mask. He can feel it.
Yeah.
But he looks over at there's a glare in the beak. He looks over at Jacob and kind of eyes him up and says, remembering back to how when they first met, Jacob might not have realized that he knew what he was trying to do. He would say, I don't know. I'd say a thief got what they deserved. And he kind of looks at him and walks off.
Ooh.
Jacob's gonna take a
Jacob.
mental note of that.
He'll remember
Jacob's
that.
has to lie down and
Telltale
consider
game.
this.
Yeah.
Discount. As you are taking all this in, I have something I want to throw your way before you make your move here, because this might affect it. The vendor at that shop that you've been at the tech shop, before you, as you sort of watch Cassidy walk out of this situation, out of nowhere, he like claps you on the shoulder to the point that it might kind of scare you, and he kind of spins you around, but you can see that, like, even though he's got that super mutant like permanent grimace, he like throws his arms up and he's like, yeah, he sounds like really excited, like to the point that he starts like moving his hands like this.
I do the same
And
thing
then-
because I don't know what else to do, and I'm like,
yeah, and then he like, you can see he's working it out, like he's trying to figure it out, and he like puts his hand out like this. It's like a handshake, but it's like super aggressive.
yeah, I take that fucking shit, and we do like the slap hands, and then we do slap
Yeah,
asses.
he with his free hand, this free four-fingered hand, he points at the beacon, the thing that the woman stole on the stall, and like does that while he's like shaking your hand. Basically, he's trying to make it clear to you, like, he appreciates that this is back now. He has no idea what happened in the midst of all of this, but he's very excited about
Is it near me?
Yeah, it's laying on the counter.
Okay, so yeah, I pick this up and I offer him something for it. I see his reaction tells me that there's something valuable about this situation. Plus, things become valuable when situations make them valuable. Somebody died for this thing, so
Sure.
Discount is definitely seeing an opportunity, and he was like, you know what, shit had happened, so I offer him, a teddy bear.
He like, he takes the teddy bear, but then like he also, with his other hand, he gently he puts it onto the hand where you're holding the beacon, and he like pushes it down onto the counter as if to say, this is not what I'm excited about, but yes, I'll take the bear. He pushes it down. He holds up one finger to you, and then he turns around and he lifts like a cloth that was on the back wall behind you. There's a terminal underneath it. With his back to you, like he messes with the terminal, and he even like looks back over his shoulder at one point and is like, he turns back around and he goes back to working on the terminal. He kind of uses like his bulk to block the screen of the terminal so you can't see what he's doing. A second later, you hear that like sort of telltale little and the wall panel, like the grating where he has all of this stuff, starts to rotate on like a horizontal axis. It flips around to the other side.
Like that Men in Black thing with
Yeah.
on
On the other side is a bunch of stuff you have never seen before.
I want it all.
If the other stuff that he had was like maybe tough to identify because it looked like cobbled together pieces of real world stuff, this stuff is quite literally stuff you have never ever seen. You don't even know what some of this stuff is. These metal tools are shiny, like they have been polished, or like they're brand new. They're tools that don't even look like tools that make sense to you. You're looking at it going, I don't even know what the hell I'm supposed to do with that. I have no idea what that's for.
Figure it out.
I
want it all. I am.
Yeah, he kind of points to this. I will tell you there are a couple of things that catch your attention there outside of just like the various metal bits. At least one of them is there's like a syringe type device. It kind of looks like a stim pack, but inside the syringe part of it, there's like a really thick metallic silver substance. It looks like it's like roiling inside of it. There is also there are also a couple of like small spherical, looks like kind of glass-like jars that have a translucent kind of green gel-like substance inside it. It looks green, and yet it also seems to be glowing, more like a bluish color. So like it kind of goes back and forth between the two.
Yep.
You want it all, huh?
Oh yeah, I reach into my coat and I pull out. I'm like, you want this?
Okay, let me hand wave a couple of things here.
And I'm really fucking with him. I'm making this thing move. He is transfixed, and I know what he wants.
In terms of caps, I will give you one of each of the two things that I just described, one of each of them, for a grand total of, if you're going to give him like a trade as part of it too. Actually, you know what? Because you never get to do this. Let's make a barter check.
Barter,
this would be.
You. I was about to say barter is a thing I do.
Yeah. Is it? Well, I'll let you pick. Do you want charisma or you want luck? Because he's hard to understand.
Oh, either or. I'm good at both.
Okay, whichever one you're better at. That plus your barter.
Same, 7. 7 plus 3. So I'm at 10, and barter is my tag.
Is a tag skill. So anything under a 3 will be a crit success.
All right. Wait.
I will tell you, there's no need to spend luck or AP on this. This is a low stakes roll.
All right, that's a success.
Okay.
That's a success.
All right, double successes. Very good. He will give you each one of those things, like one of each of those things, and that seems to be what he's offering. He pulls one of each of them down off the thing, plus a few little like random pieces of metal, which we'll talk about as scrap later on.
For pencils and whatnot.
Yeah. For a grand total of 50 caps.
On it. Hold on.
Okay.
How many do I got? I got more than that, but I need to do the math. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down that so that we can go over it later. High value scrap. I also want you to write down the word epoxy and write down the word biogel.
Oh, I'm going to do things with that shit.
And we will talk about all of those things at a later point in time.
Turn Cassidy blue.
Okay.
I'm going to enjoy shooting you.
I only have 4 fingers.
Okay. So, who is going to the town hall?
I'll go.
I'm definitely going.
Okay.
I gotta watch these motherfuckers. They're gonna kill people and stuff. I need to keep an eye on them. Fucking with my profit.
You haven't seen me kill anybody.
That's a fair point.
So, is it fair to say everyone's going to the town hall then?
Oh yeah, I got my goodies.
Okay.
Especially
anything
Chef.
You want to handle on the anything you guys want to handle on the way there? Anything specific that you want? Hey, Chef, at some point in time, you get your soil. You've been working on it this whole time. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how you pull it off. And in fact, you probably don't really know how you pull it off.
I gave him some points.
No, I
He
don't.
found some. Luna came up and gave them the cap.
He may have already. He might have already.
That's why I
had it.
keep you around.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. The whole time.
Teamwork
Okay.
makes the dream work.
All right.
There's no I in
So-
team, but there is an I, and I will shoot every motherfucker at this town meeting if they get step to me.
Anything you guys want to handle on the way there? Any conversations you want to have? Anything you need to ask me before
I'm
you
having
get
a
there?
conversation with fucking Cassidy. I'm just with my
Uh-oh.
eyes. Well, actually, with my mask eyes. I just literally.
Which
I don't
mask are you wearing
know.
right now?
On the way over there, I'm not even looking at him. I literally just moved my mask to look at him, but I'm watching forward, and my bird mask is watching.
You have a secret hole. You have a secret hole in the side, so you can still see forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Looking.
Yeah, so I'm looking at you and I'm looking at forward. Bernie Mac style.
I'm gonna, as we're walking, I'm gonna talk to Luna and tell her, "Hey, what happened back there? That's how you survive in the wasteland." And he keeps walking.
No.
Maybe you should keep it holstered till we're done talking.
That's what she said.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So
I think we just saw a villain turn. I heel turn tonight. Pretty hard.
you guys get up to what has been described as the town hall. Again, it is still technically a makeshift building, but it is more well constructed than the others. It's better constructed than those. Inside, you notice a couple of things pretty quickly. First, your eyes take a second to adjust because it is significantly darker in there. Sally is there, along with, let's say, approximately 7 to 10 super mutants. Interestingly, these guys are all free of those cloth wrappings. And you see now that there is some variation between them. I'm not going to make you roll for it because it's been long enough that you've been around them at this point. Some of them, their skin is a little more blue-green. Some of it's a little more gray. Some look a little more, again, textured than others. Some are very smooth. One of them in particular, a very tall, a very lanky one, not quite as thick or muscular as so many of them, is kind of glistening under what few little lights are in there, like their skin is like wet. And they're on, it's not a throne. It's not like they're not like at a presidential desk, but they are at basically like the head of the table, right? Clearly a seat of distinction. Limbs a little more elongated than the others. It's almost graceful. Like, it's weird to describe the super mutant that way, but that's kind of where it comes from. Eyes a little larger, more bulbous than some of the others too. And again, kind of an unusual delicacy. Their hands kind of steepled together. Sally looks all of you over as you come in, looks back at them, they've all now kind of moved to the same side of the room, and says, "Good. Okay, you're all here. Ladies and gentlemen," she turns back and sort of gestures toward this person, says, "This is Zarn." This is Xarn, for what it's worth. Who is the mayor here of Skull Canyon. Please, if you would, the intention here is that we all show respect to each other, that we all keep our weapons holstered, that we all use our words, and try to resolve these issues peacefully. Zarn is clad in really simple and practical garments, just like the rest of them. But again, there's clearly a presence coming from this person. They begin to speak. Their voice is a bit deeper than the others, although it is still that sort of unintelligible. And Sally starts translating, basically saying, "Thank you all for coming. I understand there was an incident. No need for us to discuss that. My understanding is it has been resolved. I would like to simply get to the matter at hand. For some time now, we have been here. Honestly, we're not sure how long it has been. It was many before my time, and I would like it to be many afterward. We are peaceful. As you have hopefully seen, there is a peaceful coexistence between my people and yours. But that is not to say that we are incapable of violence. We only use it for defense, never when attacked. To that end, about 1 week ago, a patrol of your rangers," and then Zarn stops and you see Sally like retranslate. Sorry, not your people, but rangers from the New California Republic arrived here. They were welcome until they made themselves unwelcome. And they were expelled, told not to return, and yet they threatened to do so with more. They were prejudiced. There is no other way of describing it. They shouted slurs. They manhandled our people. The town guard managed to turn them away, but we know that this will not last. Before I go any further, I need everybody to make a perception plus speech test.
Well, I'm gonna fail.
God, have some faith, girl.
I have a total of 4.
I will tell you, this is also relatively low stakes. I don't think there's any need to burn AP on this, but you guys take that as you will.
I'm gonna wait till everyone's done so I don't get my stuff confused. Okay. Jesus. Oh my God, 17 twice. Yeah, no, I failed. I'm just gonna take the failure.
I
I
failed
got one
both mine.
success.
17
One
twice.
success.
Okay. Jacob?
2 failures.
Okay. A lot of failures, couple of singular successes. Discount and Chef. The two of you listening to this conversation, Chef, you probably because you're not human, and so you don't quite fall into the same eccentricities as human speech patterns. Like you have an easier time discerning these kinds of things. And Discount, maybe you because you've just interacted with so many different walks of life. Plus, kind of your whole way of getting by is trying to make a deal, right? So you're used to people maybe not always quite telling the truth. It's not that Sally is lying or that Zarn is lying. And it's not really clear if maybe she's intentionally mistranslating or if he's saying something that she's picking up and going with, whether she wants to or not. Something here doesn't quite seem right. I would phrase it more as maybe misdirection than falsehoods. You're not necessarily being spun lies about this whole thing, but a couple of these things feel off. Like maybe they're being exaggerated, or maybe they're not quite as dire as they were presented. Again, there's literally no way to know without asking. But something does seem a little bit off about the way that this was described. In any case, I'll come back to that if you'd like to. As the conversation continues, Zarn makes it clear that essentially what he and his people want from you is help resolving this situation. This is what Sally was sent out to hire you to hopefully do. Their people are not really the warriors they appear to be. They're capable of defending themselves, but not going out on the attack. And that's not the intention here either. They just want this situation resolved. There is an NCR Ranger unit that has been spotted in a camp not very far from where Skull Canyon is. And if you will accept their deal, their furthering deal from what you've been paid to do, this is the instructions that they're giving for it. They would like for you to go to this encampment to speak with them and hopefully put this thing to a peaceful end.
Cassidy's going to ask.
No, this is when they would stop. Go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry,
so
go ahead.
Cassie would speak up first and ask how many.
Rangers?
Yeah.
Is what you're asking? There are. Oh, sorry, I got to count them. I can tell you. I know how many there are meant to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They expect that there are a grand total of probably 10. Like it's got to be up in the double digits, but not by many. But at least half of them are privates, or at least from what they've observed. At least half of them are just grunts. Like there's probably 5 or 6 who are the ones who might be in the position to make those kinds of decisions.
I'm just wondering, what's the payoff?
Oh, you've already been. This is what you're being paid to do. This is what
that's
Sally hired you
75.
guys to do. Yep, 75 caps. Sally
Game on.
hired you guys to do that.
Hey, deal's a deal.
Per
I've
person.
already made. Yeah, a deal is a deal. I've already made that.
Cassidy's not interested in the caps. He wants to know what's in it for him. As he looks
Not
at
your
her.
little trinket.
Well, she said that plus more. What's the plus more?
Wait, who said plus more?
I thought she did when she showed the one thing. She said this and and
And
other.
the caps, I thought.
Oh, let me talk out of character here. You walked away from the plus more.
Yep.
It was all back at that stall.
I don't. Oh,
Oops.
what?
Yep.
All the tech is back there.
I assume she was giving him something. He didn't have to go buy something from a stall.
No,
I had about
no, she
five
just said
old-
that if you were okay. So here's what I'm saying again.
I think I misunderstood. Yeah.
The Brotherhood. Your whole thing is to collect technology, right?
Right.
Right. You walked away from it. That's
Well,
a you choice.
He didn't walk
But
away
it's
from
there.
it. He didn't walk away from it completely. Yeah, it's still there.
Right. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's where it is. She wasn't just saying I'm going to hand a bunch of stuff over, but if you want to know where this is coming from, you got to come with me.
Oh, yeah, see, I misunderstood as a player. I thought, it's fine. I'm here now. I've already got blood on my hands. All it takes
Literally.
Yeah, no.
all it takes is one call to the Brotherhood, and they can wipe this whole camp out and take everything.
Sure.
He
Anything
thinks.
else?
He thinks. He doesn't say.
I know.
But he giggles to
Anybody
himself
else
for
have
no
anything
reason.
they want?
Good move.
Like Mr. Burns remembering that Irish boy with the broken legs.
Ooh. Excellent. Okay. If there is nothing else, then in the immediacy here, because it is now getting relatively late in the day, Zarn through Sally basically says you are welcome to camp here if you like, stay here with us and head out in the morning, or if you think it would be in your interest to head out in the evening, it's your choice. However you choose to approach this, we will do what we can to aid, with an understanding that, of course, my people have to, we can put you up for the night, that sort of thing. Food, shelter, not a big deal. If it's supplies you need, my people have to make a living, so they will still have to sell these things to you, but we'll do what we can to help you out.
Rest for the night.
Yeah, I vote for
It's on
rest
rest?
and
Yeah.
food and start in the morning.
Yeah.
My head hurts.
Okay.
I'm gonna get the soil in this pot. I need to count my
Okay.
coins. I'm sure I made
So-
time harder
my
to deal
friend-
with back.
There are, they're not barracks, like they probably were literally barracks, but they don't use them that way in this place because, again, they don't really have a militia. They have a town guard, and that's about the best they've got. So they've got like basically some cots and places for you all to sleep or rest or power down for the night, as the case may be. They have food. Hank is glad to offer up the basics, some sort of grilled meat. You probably don't want to know where from, so I wouldn't ask. If you want anything more than just simple, not purified but boiled water, it'll cost you, and I can give you a menu. We can talk about that. But what I want to know for right now is, as you all are settling down for the evening, can we have a moment with each character and their trinket, and tell us a little something about them before they go to sleep that night, about what they do as they look over their specific trinket? Who wants to go first?
I forgot about the trinket.
I gotta
Well,
roll for that.
No, I
What's
remember.
convenient is, like I was saying, we can roll right here in the moment if we
no.
need to.
I'm doing it live. God damn it!
No, I know my trinket. It's the cosmetics case that he.
Right, you had that from the last time. Yes.
Yeah. I assume it's
Yeah.
the same trinket, right?
Yeah, it can be. If you want to make a new one, that's fine, because not everybody's playing the same character as before. But that's if you want it to be the one from before and to carry over that from the character, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that.
Yeah, it was tied to his family. It was the only thing he took from his. I think I said it was his sister. It was her cosmetics case before the Raiders basically killed his father and mother and took the sister into God knows where to do God knows what. And he remembers, as he looks over it, he remembers this as his reason for doing the things that he does, both in public and by shadow,
Okay.
which is
All right.
murder.
Yes. So you spent some time thinking that over. Tell us what you think about in this specific moment regarding that trinket.
He is about his family or just in the situation?
Whatever Cassidy would think of as he holds that case and looks it over.
He is afraid. He is afraid right now, but he can't show it, and he can't say why, and nobody knows. But he has a fear that is related directly to what happened to them, and kind of an identity crisis based on how he feels about what happened versus who he became after he became who he became. And he is just a jumbled mental mess in this moment. But he doesn't show it. He, as a soldier, he knows how to put on the face, so that's what he does. But inside, it's like 1,000 TVs going at once. Everything's screaming at him, and he's doing his best to hide that from everybody else.
Okay. I'm going to throw it over quickly to Jacob. Jacob, roll a d20 for me.
Yeah, that's something I can do.
I'll pray on it.
It's a 5.
Okay. Your trinket is a metal, medal, like a metal. So you tell me what kind of metal and what it has to do with your character and what they're thinking about as they look it over. Your trinket's like a personal item that's from your past.
So this medal is a family heirloom. He's not entirely sure who from. He knows that once his father passed, it was handed to him. It's kind of faded, kind of hard to see what was on there, but he knows it belonged to an ancestor of his. You see the makings of some shapes. You're not really sure where this came from or what kind of military group it was from, but having this kind of grounds him and helps him remember why he's doing what he's doing. Helps him remember the family he had and what they had to do to survive as long as they did. And helps them keep pushing forward.
Sure. Who's next?
Hey, I'll go next. I have to kind of put my trinket back together since it fell off my head. So I got a new pot. We got some hopefully decent soil, and then the seeds of the previous plant. So I, with this singular hand that I can use to manipulate everything, I guess whatever bunk or bed that they kind of, gave me the space for, I don't need to sleep. So I just kind of been missing and trying to get everything together and hopefully get things going and see how well this can turn out.
It'd probably be like a little power station. Like you would move onto a dock for the evening.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't think I have any actual purified water or anything I can use to water it currently. So I think that's my next step.
I was gonna say, can I suggest that's what you're thinking about? Step 4. What do I do next?
Yeah. What do I need to do next? Yep. So next is some decent water to help get this going. So
perfect. Who's next?
Well, I have a postcard that has an address on it, and I stumbled across this postcard on our journey out here. It was just kind of stuck in some stuff. It's seen better days. The edges are kind of falling apart. The ink is pretty faded. But the address on it is Burbank, California. And I've never been to California, but I know it's past where we're at.
Yes, it is. All right. One more.
All right, let me roll a d20 and see what happens.
Okay, yeah, let me bring the list back up. I don't have it in front of me right now.
18. Overdue library book. Okay.
Yes.
So, Discount has been holding on to this since even before he stumbled upon the theater where he found all of his masks. This is before he even wore masks and had an affinity for it. But he is a reader. He's a storyteller. This is how he works and barters and so forth and gets to know the people. And this goes back to he had stumbled upon some library books, things of this nature that's post-war stuff, and this particular book, it's faded out. Most of the stuff is has fallen apart. It's hold on, let me think about this for a second. I'll take from the crowd here. What book might be worth using here?
For your character, it would have to be written before a certain time, wouldn't it? I mean, well.
Oh yeah, this is an old book. For the record, it predates predates millennium, it's 20th century stuff. It probably comes from a Barnes and Noble at some point.
My first instinct would be to say the Bible, but I don't think you get much. It's not really.
They made a movie out of that, and it was, what was it called? The Book of Eli.
What if, Kaz, what about
it's The Merchant of Venice?
I was gonna say Death of a Salesman. Death of a Salesman.
Oh, I don't hate that. Yeah, any version. Death of the Salesman's a good one.
Yeah, Death of the Salesman. That'll work. Yeah, and he's actually used that story as kind of an inspiration for his own like methods and intentional cases to continue to profit in his day-to-day life.
Okay. So you all take a moment to look these things over.
I want to make one note though. Some of the pages are missing or blotted out, so he doesn't get the full story, but so he's interpreting it as best as he can.
Well, and it's a play too, so there's probably some misunderstanding there.
And some notes in there that whoever was the actor at the time had wrote notes into the margins and may have fucked up the story a little bit.
Yeah, I like that a lot. You guys look these things over before you either, again, power down or go to sleep for the evening. By the way, I misspoke earlier. You all regain 1 luck point for having this moment.
Wait, I thought you said that we don't want to have luck points. What?
Shut up, Kaz.
Don't question it.
I'm good. I've got like 7 or 8 of these fucking things. I'm game.
So okay, you can't gain them. You can't gain one over. If you didn't use one, you can't gain one because you can't have more luck points than you have in the luck skill. But if you spent at least 1, you get 1 back. Okay. It's only 1, and that can only happen once per quest. So don't think you're going to get to do that again. You can only take a moment with your trinket once per quest and get a luck point back. I had forgotten about that. No,
Damn,
not the same thing. Yes.
Just before I forget about it, after the day that he's had and witnessed and the death he witnessed, he's a little shaken. You know, he needs to relax.
Sure.
Before he lays his head down, Jacob takes that shot.
Oh. And that, by the way, that final scene of you, like everyone else kind of nodding off and powering down, you take a moment, you're laying there, eyes wide, unable to sleep. You roll over, you rummage around in your pack, and you find that other half of that fusion cell, and you go, fuck it, throw it back, and that is where we're going to call it for tonight. We will talk about what that does at a later point in time. Shelby, when did you get here? Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up quick here because we've gone pretty late into the night. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us, especially on this one shot of Modiphius's Fallout. Showdown at Skull Canyon is what we're playing here. And again, this is only truly episode 1, technically episode 2. We will continue this as long as need be, definitely through till at least the end of May, maybe a bit longer before we get back to Deadlands. So this will continue next week. We'll be right back then. But Shannon, we got plenty more coming up this week as well.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Tomorrow night, PZ85 presents Extras and Epilogues. Star Wars month is back in full swing.
Oh, yeah.
And, we're starting the Skywalker trilogy. So tomorrow night, it's the prequels. That would be, of course, episodes 1, 2, and 3. And I think
that's a pretty good trick.
That, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so wizard. Next week, of course, we cover the originals, and then the last week of the month.
And then the good
we'll
ones.
talk about the sequels when we get there.
Yeah, finally.
Lindsay, what are we doing on After Dark this Thursday?
I have to find out if someone's going to be available for a certain topic, so the listeners are just going to have to wait and see.
Top 5 Yanks for Yaddle.
And then maybe I don't like that term at all. And then maybe we stream some. Maybe we stream some Old Republic.
They're gonna say you bring up Yaddle and he just leaves. You know. Yeah, we can stream Old Republic on Friday.
I mean, I can't, but you guys can.
Work open and close, so you have to wait till I get home if I'm playing.
I mean, I'll start the stream and then we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. All right, and then we do it all again next week as we return to the Wasteland. Fallout Showdown at Skull Canyon picks up next week on PZ85 Plays. Until then, for
on
Kaz,
a Tuesday,
for Lindsay, on a Tuesday,
which is the same day as my MRI. So let's see what mood I'm in.
Correct.
On Tuesday.
Yes.
It's gonna be the
for
best
Shannon,
show
for
yet.
Lindsay, for Tanner, for Kaz, and for who did I leave out? Steven, damn it, Steven! That's what you get for talking over me. I'm your Game Master, Double H. I'm your Overseer. Crawl out through the Fallout. We'll see you next week. Later.